Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the American Sports Connection. I am your host, the one and only Joey Railroads. I'm here with my buddy Jason. How's it going, dude?
Yeah, pretty good.
Crazy ass weather, though, for the middle of October.
85 degrees. Man, come on. It's going to be 55 on Saturday, too, so everybody will be sick on Monday.
You better believe it. It's not going to help everybody with their allergies.
Yeah, if I could give anybody advice, it would be load up on vitamin C because your immune system's probably going to have to fight off some sicknesses soon.
Well, and then I always get the joy because I have my hand sanitizer right next to me here because with little guy in school, they bring all that shit home.
Yeah, that's bad.
So, before we get started, if anyone wants to check out the social media pages, it's facebook.com/American Sports Connection. And we're on Twitter at AmSportsCon, C-O-N, pod, P-O-D. And if anybody wants to get a hold of Jason, his personal Twitter is at @AGeekOfNature, all one word.
All one word.
All right, so what did you think of the NFL this past week?
The main thing that's been standing out to me, and I know you'll agree with me, for the last, maybe the whole season so far, is how bad the officiating has been.
Yeah.
It seems to just, get worse and worse, and I think we'll get into it later with that Atlanta and Seattle game with a huge non-call.
Well, we had spoke about this off the air. I said, I don't think I've ever seen a year where they've been more, awful at, ball placement, when a guy goes down.
Yeah, I agree. Spotting the football this year has been, a very, very hard job, it seems, for the officials. It's ridiculous. It just, I don't know why they seem to be getting increasingly worse, but it's happening.
Yeah, I think they need to, just finally bite the bullet and get some new officials in there.
Union, man. They have union, and they have an agreement in place, a CBA, with the officials. So and the NFL's hands are tied if you think about it.
Yeah, and it's really hurting the product, I think.
Yeah, it's becoming harder to watch football because the calls are so bad that it slows the game down. It just seems like the flow of the games has just changed because
or they're just really egregious calls that somebody will barely get touched and they call a penalty.
Yeah, it's off. Everything is off. There's no consistency to it other than I guess they're consistently bad. But yeah, it's rough, man.
All right, well let's get into it. Last Thursday night we had Denver at San Diego.
Yeah, that was Denver, man. They're coming off of 2 straight really bad games right now, yes. And this game they did not look good. Simeon threw the ball 50 times. That's how bad their running game was. So San Diego's defensive line was shut down to run, and they won a football game, 21-13.
I know. Well, I thought Denver was going to come back and beat them, but Denarius Thomas really hurt them with that fumble late.
Yeah, it ruined Denver's chances of winning this game, I think. It's like San Diego tries to give games away. Obviously, they've done it a lot this year, and in the past, too. Rivers a lot of times with interception, but they just couldn't do it because, like you said, Demaryius Thomas's fumble pretty much handed San Diego back the game.
Yeah.
Wasn't really an exciting game at all.
No, not at all. And that's another thing. The primetime games are really not been, exciting this year.
Not at all, no. They've been very bad, and I think that's a big reason why the NFL's ratings are down this year.
I agree. Next, we had the 49ers at the Bills with Colin Kaepernick's debut.
Yeah, a bad debut. 45-16 win for Buffalo. LaShawn McCoy, a huge game, 140 yards, 3 touchdowns. I think Buffalo's back, man. 4 straight wins after they got rid of their offensive coordinator and maybe put Rex Ryan on the hot seat.
I was going to say that 0-2 start is a distant memory.
Yeah, Buffalo has really, really turned it on, and with a win over New England, it was a Tom Brady absent win, but they still dominated that game. Shut them out. Buffalo's defenses look really, really well lately. Another big hit for San Francisco. I just saw Chip Kelly announce that Carlos Hyde is a stretch to play this week.
Ooh.
So that's a big hit for them. San Francisco's 1-5. I have a feeling that their GM, their front office, their coaching staff.
Gone.
Yeah, I got a feeling Chip Kelly might be gone. I think Kaepernick's in his last year with them, which I think his new contract actually might have guaranteed that. But yeah, it's not looking good in San Francisco right now. They're a way away from that Super Bowl appearance they had a few years back.
Yeah, they're a mess.
Yeah, not a good game at all. Blowout, 45-16, Buffalo win.
Yeah, ooh. All right, next, our game, the Eagles at the Redskins.
Man, it kind of turned into a closer game at the end. The Eagles, the penalties, man. Officiating wasn't very good in this game again, but the Eagles' penalties and their new starting right tackle, Vaitai, and Lane Johnson's suspension absence, he looked terrible against Kerrigan. Eagles' running defense the last 2 weeks has looked bad, too. Nothing really, it was 27-10, Washington won. Nothing really stood out positive for the Eagles other than maybe Malcolm Jenkins' interception return for a touchdown. But
and the kickoff return by Wendell Smallwood.
Yeah, that was big. Touchdown. What was it, 96 yards, I believe, or something?
Something like that.
Yeah, they
look flat.
Yeah, they look flat the last 2 weeks. I don't think Doug Peterson has coached very well the last 2 weeks either, especially this week. I thought some of his play calling was off and could have hurt them a bit, but next week, man, I'll tell you what, they got a big game, and hey, kudos to Washington now. They're 3-2?
4-2.
4-2, yeah, 4-2, a game behind the Cowboys at 5-1. You're right. So the Redskins have stepped up their game. Yeah.
That's all I really got to say. So we can move on. We have the Browns at the Titans.
Yeah, this game, man. Mariota had a huge game. Three touchdowns. I think was about 350 total yards.
Holy crap.
Kendall Wright, a big game. Cody Kessler, man, 336 and 2 touchdowns. He had a big game. This game came down to the end, too. 28-26 final. Tennessee pulled it out. Cleveland, I don't know if they're going to win a game this year.
I just like where Tennessee's going. Granted, it's still against the Browns, but they're finding ways to win as opposed to finding ways to lose.
Yeah, that's a good point. That in their past, they would have definitely found a way to lose this game. I think Cleveland may have perfected the way of finding ways to lose. Yeah, I think they've perfected it. It's crazy, man. Cleveland's got some good sports stuff going on right now with the Cavs winning the NBA title, the Indians one game away from the World Series, and then you have the Browns. This game,
you got a good point there.
Yeah.
Moving on, we had the Ravens at the Giants.
The Ravens at the Giants. The coming out of Odell Beckham Jr. is what I guess we could call this. 222 yards and 2 touchdowns.
And, of course, this was the week I played him in fantasy.
Yep, 66-yarder from Eli to OBJ, and with a minute 24 left, wins this football game for the Giants. And, hey, they found a way to win this game. They pulled it out. Eli Manning, a big day, 403 passing, 3 touchdowns. He did have.
See the celebration he did after he scored the touchdown and got a penalty for?
I don't remember. I did not. No.
It's the one where he, put the kicking net that hit him, he, laid on the ground and put it over top of him like it fell on him.
Oh, okay, yeah. So he's in love with the kicking net now.
Apparently.
until he has another terrible game.
And game with his 15 yards.
Yeah, true. You got to be careful with that in the NFL now. You can't do anything.
But the Giants hanging in at 3-3 because they have not looked good.
No, they haven't. Even in this win, they kind of like Eli still kind of looks bad here and there, but they're hanging around.
Yeah, I'll give them that. All right.
They're probably not. They're probably not going to be a factor in winning the division because Dallas looks like they're locked in right now. But there is 2 wild cards.
Hey, you never know.
Yeah.
All right. Next, we had one of the more exciting games of the week: the Panthers at the Saints.
Yeah, the most exciting game of the week, man. 41-38 win for the Saints. First thing that stands out to me is where is the Panthers' defense?
I know.
Josh Norman went up to Washington. They're 4-2, and Carolina's 1-5 right now. So
that says it all right there. Well,
yeah,
Drew Brees is going to get his piece of flesh. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Drew Brees is going to rip you up. This week he ripped you up. He got more than a piece. He got a pound. 465 and 4 touchdowns for Drew Brees.
Wow.
Yeah. Drew Brees is he's still got it. We'll put it like that.
I got to give Carolina credit, though. They haven't quit because they scored 21 in the fourth to tie this game. Yeah,
they only lost because the Lutz kid hit also, Graham Gano missing the extra point was pretty big. And Lutz from New Orleans, 11 seconds left, hits the game-winning field goal to win it.
Yep.
So, kudos to Carolina. Hey, they're not out of it. I mean, they're not really, that great. They haven't
been blown out. They've just, it's like a flip here or there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, one mistake or either way could have given them, they could possibly be 4-1 or 4-1, 4-2, whatever they are this year. Yeah, so they're not terrible. Their defense just doesn't exist, but luckily for them, their offense is on fire.
Right, I agree. All right, next we had the Jaguars going to the Bears.
Yeah, this game is another team that's in the running for the number 1 pick, and I think they're locked into a top 5 at Chicago. They're bad.
I really didn't think they were going to be that bad.
Yeah, they lost this game 17-6. A late Jacksonville touchdown pulls it out for the Jaguars.
Yeah,
this game was just ugly.
Jacksonville's 2-3, and it's a giant hodgepodge in that AFC South.
Yeah, because Houston, who we'll get into that a little bit later, which it's going to be fun to talk about that. Houston's hanging on. Their offense, I don't know. It's there, but we'll see. Their defense, losing Watt obviously is huge, but that division's still wide open in my opinion. Jacksonville rips off another couple wins here and there, 3 out of 4, whatever. They're right there,
No, I agree with you.
They have a good future too.
Yes. They are loaded with young talent.
Yeah.
All right. Next, we had the Rams at the Lions.
This was another exciting game, man. The Rams are not a great team. They might not even be a good team right now, but they're not a bad team. They are a threat to beat people. And Detroit now 2 wins in a row, and their early losses weren't really, bad. So they're kind of.
We talked about it on this show that their losses were between 11 points, I think, combined.
Yeah. And if it wasn't for Minnesota just totally dominating right now, the Lions are still a threat in that division because Green Bay is a huge question mark.
Yes, we'll get into that.
Yeah. Big game. Stafford had 4 touchdowns. Golden Tate, 165 yards and a touchdown. Case Keenum, 321 and 3 touchdowns. Kenny Britt, 136 receiving and 2 touchdowns. And Matt Prater, man, the guy's got a big leg. Hits the late field goal to win the game for him, 31-28, Detroit.
Yeah, it was. I would say a surprising game that was fun to watch.
Yeah, they're 2 teams that I think could make some noise going later into this year. they could at least beat some teams and hurt some guys. Hurt some teams. And I don't mean like physically hurt guys, but hurt some teams.
Yeah, like be a thorn.
Yeah. They could knock some teams out of playoff contention.
No, I agree with you. Next, we had the Steelers laying an egg in Miami.
Yeah, Ben Roethlisberger going down is what killed them, I think. Which I don't know if you just saw, but Chris Mortensen reported that he's out 2 to 4 weeks with the meniscus tear that he had to have repaired. Yeah, no, it's worse because they were thinking maybe he might just miss the New England game because they have a bye week to follow. They were saying it could be a 2 to 3 week. Now they're saying it's probably going to be more of a 4-week injury. Okay. So Pittsburgh could be in trouble, man, because their backup was Landry Jones, right?
Yeah, he's not good.
He's not very good. Miami did what you have to do to beat Pittsburgh. They held the ball. Ajay, however you pronounce it, 204 yards rushing, or 204 total yards, or whatever, with 2 touchdowns. Miami, the blueprint the Eagles put out to beat Pittsburgh is what Miami basically pulled off on Sunday en route to a 30-15 win, which it wasn't a very good game.
And they just kind of punched him in the mouth, really.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. I mean, going into next week, we'll get into that, but I think Pittsburgh's definitely in trouble next week. I have them marked down as losing. They're the team that I thought I keep thinking Pittsburgh, New England. That's going to be the AFC Championship right there. Pittsburgh now, with the 2 losses they have, they're 4-2. With Roethlisberger possibly being out for 3 games, 4 weeks, but they have a bye week, 3 games, they could be in trouble.
Yeah, because they could potentially lose them all and be under 500.
Yeah, they could be in serious trouble.
But we'll have to see as, things pan out. All right, moving on, we had the Bengals at the Patriots with Tom Brady's debut at home.
Yeah, Tom Brady's debut at home, and he definitely made it his show. 376 yards passing, 3 touchdowns. Gronk looked healthy, and they just blew Cincinnati out of the water here. 35-17 win.
I was surprised that it stayed close as early as it did. Like, it didn't get away sooner.
Yeah, I agree. New England is just, man, that Patriots team, when they have their team on the field, they are hard to beat, especially in New England.
Yeah, I agree with you. That's all I really have to say about this one.
Yeah, there wasn't really much else to say about the game.
And next we had, and this one was shocking to me, that the Chiefs beating Oakland.
I gotta look at something here because I believe, let me look. Yeah, it wasn't so shocking to me because I picked Kansas City to win the game. I thought, because I knew Kansas City was due, man, and 26-10, very close game early, but Oakland didn't score any points in the second half.
My friend Adam, who's a big-time Raiders fan, he was highly annoyed with this game.
Yeah, Ware from Kansas City had a big game. He was the player of the game. Unless you want to count Kansas City's second half defense, they were the players of the game. Yeah. This game didn't surprise me. Oakland was due for another loss. Kansas City really needed to win. And Andy Reid in the past, from the 11 years or whatever we saw from him, he wins games with his team when they need to win. And they pulled a good one out on Sunday, putting their record to 3-2 with now a game behind Oakland in division and a win over Oakland. So, kudos to the Chiefs.
Yeah,
big road win.
I was going to say the only thing I noticed in this game is Carr played really flat.
Yeah, he was due for one of those games. Cooper had a pretty big game, almost 130 yards receiving, no touchdowns though. But Oakland. I mean, sometimes I don't want to say it's good to lose a game, but Oakland have been winning a lot of tight games, and then they came out flat. Kind of like
a reality check.
Yeah. So we'll see.
All right. Moving on, we had the other exciting game this week, which there is one more. Atlanta at Seattle.
Yeah, this is the game we talked about earlier with the officiating. Atlanta blew the game like the Falcons tend to do, which they're starting to look, especially this Sunday, starting to look like those Falcons that we expect to see. Coming in 4-1, blowing this game. But the biggest play of this game is the non-pass interference call on Richard Sherman at the very end.
I hate to say a team gets screwed, but they got screwed.
They did get screwed. Matt Ryan, another huge game, 3 touchdown passes. Julio Jones, 139 and a touchdown. And Seattle, kudos to them, scoring 10 points in the last 5 minutes of the game and, getting away with the pass interference call on that should have been called on Richard Sherman. That probably, it puts Atlanta in field goal range. If that's called, they're in field goal range. They're trying to go down and win the football game, and it didn't happen. So the officials played their big part in this football game. And it's a shame. It's a shame that you have to say that, and it's a shame that it happens. But the officials in this game cost Atlanta possibly a win. Yeah. Atlanta could be 5-1 right now, definitely running that division down there. But instead now they're 4-2 and have in my opinion someone to blame.
Yeah, I agree.
And not themselves. I guess you could say it's themselves because they did blow a lead, but their offense was going to make up for that.
Yeah.
And they didn't because of an official.
All right, moving on. We had the Cowboys thumping the Packers in Lambeau.
Yeah, man, I'll tell you what. I think you'll agree with me on this one. There's 2 teams right now that are the biggest disappointments in the NFL. Number 1 has got to be Carolina. Number 2 has to be the Green Bay Packers and Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
Has to be. I don't think there's any other team that's coming close to Carolina right now in disappointment as the Packers are.
I would agree with that.
Ezekiel Elliott had a big game. Dak Prescott, guy that I praised, and I don't like him obviously because of who he plays for, but he seems like the real deal. And Cole Beasley, 2 touchdowns again, man. And I think they said Des Bryant possibly could be back in their next game.
Yeah, that's all you really have to say about this game because
the Packers was controlled.
They didn't show up.
Yeah, it was controlled by Dallas. Another thing updated just like a little while ago is they said Eddie Lacy is ruled out for tomorrow night.
Yeah, I heard he might be out several weeks.
Yeah, he's definitely out tomorrow night, though. He's been ruled out. So anybody listens and you got fantasy or whatever, or you're picking a game, betting money, Green Bay doesn't have Lacy tomorrow night against Chicago.
That's good info. All right, the Sunday night game, the Colts pissing away a lead to Houston.
This is funny, dude. 5 minutes left. I'm talking to Mark. You know Mark, obviously. Mark's... If anybody listens on a regular basis, Mark did the Eagles in Chicago live analysis show with us. I text Mark and I say, Indianapolis is going to blow this game. Houston's winning this game. Mark says, there's not enough time. Next play, big touchdown pass from Osweiler to, I believe it was Hopkins, or maybe it was Lamar Miller, one of them. Mark's like, oh, shit. What happens? Colts blow the game and put themselves in an even bigger hole.
Yeah, well, it's funny you mentioned that. My friend Adam was here watching football, so I was taking him home, and it's about a 25 to 30-minute drive. So they scored the touchdown, like, right as I went to drop him off. Because we were like, there's no way. And by the time I got home was when they tied it to go into overtime.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. Lamar Miller had a huge game. That one touchdown he scored where 7 guys missed him. It was like a Madden football, like when you're banging on the juke stick and hitting the spin button and going insane, and the other person you're playing is screaming because the defense is failing. It was one of those touchdowns. It could possibly be the touchdown of the year. It's going to be up there in the top 10. But, yeah, man, Houston now 4-2 has that division looking a lot better. Osweiler may be starting to hook up better with DeAndre Hopkins because they really haven't had a good connection this year, and it's not good for Hopkins' future in Houston. But that's for another time. Yeah, 26-23 overtime win by Houston. Just a really good comeback and a bad blow for the Colts.
I still say they got to get rid of Pagano. I know they couldn't the 1 year because of the whole cancer thing, but he's really underperformed.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's time for them to just cut the cord and move on, because he's just, dude, that team just doesn't show up for him.
Yeah. All right. And go ahead.
Go ahead. Let's move on.
I was just going to bring up the last game of the week, which was Monday night, where the Jets got their asses stomped by...
Yeah. We might as well just say David Johnson, 111 yards rushing, 3 touchdowns. He owned this game again. He's a big primetime guy, man. If I had a back to pick in primetime, it would be him. The other big thing, I think, Geno Smith comes in for Ryan Fitzpatrick and looks terrible. Next day...
He was officially named the starter today.
Was he? Because I know Todd Bowles went back on it, and now he did go back to naming...
it was on the bottom line today as breaking news.
Geno was named the starter, right?
Yes.
Okay, so that's big news, man. So that was the 28-3. Arizona dominates this game. There's really nothing else to say. It's just another Monday Night Football game that sucked.
Pretty much. All right, dude. How did we do on the picks before we pick this coming week?
Let me get my little book of misery out. We both had 6 losses, again, tied. We both lost Denver. I lost Chicago. You had Jacksonville. Good pick there. We both lost LA. We both lost Pittsburgh. I lost Carolina. You had New Orleans. I picked the Redskins. You had the Eagles. I'm not happy about that. But I had Kansas City. You had Oakland, so you lost that one. We both lost Green Bay. So we finished 6-6, and another week where we kind of underperformed, I would say. I still have a 3-pick lead on you because of opening week, and that's it. We've tied every week since. 5 weeks in a row tied.
That's funny.
We try to pick different games, and we end up tied.
I know. Go figure.
All right. I have the games written down. You want me to roll through them real quick? Yeah. All right, tomorrow night, Thursday night, Chicago at Green Bay.
I'm going to pick Green Bay, even though they're struggling, because the Bears are just, embarrassingly bad.
Yeah, I think Green Bay needs a win bad. They really, really, really need a win, and I think they get it as well, so we agree on that one. All right, next game, the New York Giants at the Los Angeles Rams.
I'm taking the Rams.
Okay, I am going to disagree and go with the Giants. I think the Giants got the ball rolling. I think Odell Beckham Jr. had a big game, and I think they continue it. I hope the Rams win, but I'm going with the Giants. All right, this is an easy one. Cleveland at Cincinnati.
Cincinnati, or as they call it over there, the Tire Bowl.
Yeah, I can't pick Cleveland to win a game. All right, next one we have Washington at Detroit.
Ooh. I'm going to go Detroit because they seem like they're playing really well, at least at home anyway. And Stafford's really been, I think, playing the best he's done in his entire career.
Yeah, I'm going to take Washington to win this one. I'm going to go against you again. I think Washington's going to get the ball rolling now, and I just think Washington's a better team, and I think Detroit's due for a letdown. Indianapolis at Tennessee.
Ooh. Oh, man. I'll go with the Colts, but I really have no confidence in it.
All right, I'm going to take, man. I think I'm going with, I'm going to agree with you on this one. I think the Colts need a win bad and need to make up for what they did on Sunday night.
Yeah.
All right, next one is New Orleans at Kansas City. Another good game. Another tough game.
Yeah. I'll go Kansas City just because it's an Arrowhead.
I'm going to go New Orleans in this one. I think Breeze does enough. I think New Orleans is getting it in gear a little bit, and I'm gonna go with the Saints. Buffalo at Miami.
I'm taking Buffalo because they're on a roll.
I have to agree 100%. I think Miami's coming off a big win where they beat a team that didn't have their probably their starting quarterback in there for most of the game. I agree. Buffalo wins this one. I think Buffalo keeps it going. Baltimore at the Jets.
Baltimore.
I agree. The Jets are starting to become another team that I just can't pick. I can't pick them to win. All right, here you go. Minnesota at Philadelphia.
It hurts me to say this, but I'm taking Minnesota.
I agree. I'd have to take them. I have to pick against the Eagles, unfortunately. Oakland at Jacksonville.
Oh, man. I'll take Oakland.
Yep, agreed. I think Oakland's kind of going to rebound and pull one out. San Diego at Atlanta.
Atlanta.
Agreed. I'm not even going to explain this one. Agreed. Tampa Bay at San Francisco.
Oh, my God. I'll say Tampa Bay just because they have more talent.
I'm going to go with San Fran only because they're at home. They really need a win. And Tampa's missing Vincent Jackson now probably for the rest of the year. So
Yes.
All right, New England at Pittsburgh.
This is the lock of the week, New England.
Yep, I agree. No Ben, no win. Here's a good game on Sunday night. Now, this could be a really good game. I hope it is because it's matching up to be, and we haven't had a lot of good ones. Seattle at Arizona.
Ooh. I'll go Arizona because they're pretty tough to beat in that stadium.
I agree. I'm taking Arizona. Like I said, David Johnson seems to be Mr. Primetime. I think he has a big game against that good defense, and I think Carson Palmer back, ready to roll again. I'm taking Arizona again. I'm taking Arizona with you, I mean. And Monday night, the finale, Brock Osweiler's return to Denver. Houston at Denver.
I'm taking Denver for any number of reasons.
One of them being I don't think Osweiler is good enough to beat that defense. Is that good?
That, and it always seems that when the Houston Texans play a primetime game, they lay an egg.
Yeah, except for Sunday night, but I think it's just because you had a bigger egg layer playing against them in the Colts.
Usually.
Yeah, I agree. So we have, let me roll through real quick. I closed my book. I forgot we do the roll through. We both have Green Bay over Chicago. I have the Giants. You have the Rams. We both have Cincinnati beating Cleveland. I have Washington. You have Detroit. We both have the Colts over the Titans. I have the Saints beating the Chiefs. You have the Chiefs. We both have Buffalo over Miami. We both have Baltimore over the Jets. We both have the Vikings over the Eagles. We both have the Raiders over the Jaguars. We both have the Falcons over the Chargers. I have San Francisco beating Tampa. You have Tampa. We both have the Patriots over the Steelers. We both have the Cardinals over the Seahawks. And we both have the Broncos over the Texans.
Sounds good.
Yep, sounds good.
Hopefully the primetime games deliver this week because they all sound like they should be good.
Yeah, the two of them that we do have on the schedule seem like they should be good games, and I'm hoping they turn out that way.
I agree. All right, everybody, we're going to get out of here for today. Don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, share, thumbs up, all that good stuff. And we'll see you back next time. Have a good day, everybody.